Welcome to Uninformed. I'm John Clark, and in the red trunks playing Zerg, it's Harry.
Salutations.
In the blue trunks playing Tyrant, we have Tucker.
Good evening.
And in the black trunks playing Supreme Commander, it's Finney.
Evening all.
Everyone, welcome to Uninformed, the podcast where we have no idea what we're talking about. The Tyrant, John Clark, is back after the marvellous hosting duties of Harry last week. Thank you for that,
Curse
Harry.
you!
It was a good episode. Enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed not having to be in it or do any work, and it was pretty good.
We enjoyed not having you in it.
Good. Excellent.
I agree with the others.
Now, guys, any follow-up from last week, do you think?
Battlefield's broken again.
You are kidding me.
It worked and then stopped working.
I have some follow-up, if you don't have any. Finney, I thought you could, because last time you had briefly played Elder Scrolls Online. I was wondering if you've played any more, and had any different opinions on it.
Yeah, I have played a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It got worse. Much worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad game. I think that's part of the problem, though. It's just catastrophically boring.
Right.
I've got no inspiration to do anything anywhere. There's virtually no reward for doing anything at all. There's like one gold drop from anyone that you kill, including some of the bosses. It's not engaging in any way, shape, or form. But at the start, it was sort of alright, but then this just drags on. It just got more and more repetitive, boring, and just pointless. So I haven't played it in quite a few days, because I've just got absolutely no inspiration to do it, because it's just not interesting. It's not entertaining. There's just nothing in it that interests me in any way, shape, or form, which is extremely unfortunate because I was genuinely looking forward to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's pretty amazing, Andrew, but why is that boring when Skyrim's not? I mean, I would be entertained chasing butterflies in Skyrim. That's not that adventurous. So, how is it boring? It just doesn't make sense.
But in Skyrim, when you just charge off into the wilderness chasing after butterflies, as you said, the environment that you're in there is a lot more grand and inspiring than what you get in Elder Scrolls Online. So there's that aspect to it, but also the missions that you go on in Elder Scrolls Online. For instance, you'll be told to rescue someone from a dungeon. Now, normally in Skyrim, that means you've got about 2 hours of fighting ahead of you, probably followed by 6 other side quests on the side. In the Elder Scrolls Online, you then prepare for that mentally for this epic quest to save one idiot who wandered into a dungeon, and then you walk into the dungeon, which is about 2 meters deep, and there's one dude lying on the ground on the fire, and you kick him in the head and say, get up and go home. That's the quest. Repeat that 6 or 7 times, and that's most of the quests.
I like how you specified that the side quests are on the side. Sounds like a plate of chips.
Yeah, I agree with you, Finney. It's, my opinion's changed a bit on this game. It's started out when I played in the beta and when I first bought it for the first week, like you said, it's like, oh wow, yeah, Elder Scrolls Online, it's a good looking game graphically, but it's not designed very well, the art style. Everything is very bland, flat,
Yeah, it's boring.
brown, or white with snow in the Skyrim starting area. Like, it's very bland, and the quests are better than most MMO quests, but their rewards are like 1 gold,
10 gold.
and 1 XP. You know what I mean? Like, the whole point of an MMO is like Diablo. Like, you're meant to get cool loot, be able to show it off to your friends, show how cool you are and what you've accomplished by going into that dungeon or beating that boss. You get this specific piece of gear, you can put it on, show it off to your friends. And it's got none of that because they tried to do that whole, we're gonna slow down the progression, we're gonna slow people down, make them enjoy the world. And that would be fine if the world was enjoyable.
It just isn't, though.
Yeah. So my opinion's changed a little bit on the game. But like you said last week, it's something that MMOs, you never just judge out of the gate. You always got to give them a little while. WoW had everyone bashing it when WoW first came out, so you've got to give them time. So I'll give it probably another 2-3 months of playing every now and then I'll sort of set it aside until maybe 2 years from now. See how it's gone.
Yeah. Because I've got to get past sort of the starting quest before I can try and get into meat of the thing before I can actually condemn it.
Yeah. Are you still in the starting island? The first?
Well, in the Ebonheart Pact, I started out in Bleak Rock Isle. Does everyone start there, or does it change depending on alliance?
It changes depending on alliance. So I'm the Daggerfall Covenant, so I started in Daggerfall. Which is beautiful, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. If you want to look at it, the one nice looking place in this entire game, make a character in that alliance, because it's fantastic looking. Everything else just looks like shit compared to the starting area for the Daggerfall Covenant.
Well, in Bleak Rock Isle, the village there, in Skyrim, the towns and that look like they've been there for absolute ages, as if it was built like an actual city would be. The village on Bleak Rock Isle literally looks like helicopters came along 2 minutes before you turned up and dropped a bunch of houses.
Yeah.
Have either of you guys played Terra online?
Yes, we have, actually.
Okay, how does the starting island... Because I have played that game. How does the starting island compare?
The starting island in Terra is actually... The whole starting experience for Terra is actually terrible. No pun intended.
Really?
Come to thinking back on it, it's confusing. The quests are crap. They throw too much at you at once. The UI is not introduced slowly or anything. The starting area for Terra is just not good at all. And the Elder Scrolls Online starting area is better than that, but not by much.
Alright, fair enough. I was quite the other way around. I mean, maybe it was just the jiggle physics, but...
well, the 6 hours spent in the character creator.
Pretty much. Oh, I love that game's character creator. That's probably my biggest damnation of the game, is that you can't have this fantastical character creator and then a boring game. It's the worst sin.
Well, we will say about the Elder Scrolls Online character creator, it's just as in-depth as the normal Elder Scrolls one, so it's very good. So at the very least, I guess, get the trial and play with a character creator.
Will do.
Oh dear. Yeah, okay. So that's a shame it's a shame that a game that we've been waiting for 6 years really to come out, before even Skyrim came out. I mean, that's why it feels so much like Oblivion, because it started developing when Oblivion was released. So it's got none of the modern stuff that Skyrim has. Because it's been being developed for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years or something at this point, so...
One thing I did like is that the RPG system is a lot more complicated than was in Skyrim, because calling Skyrim an RPG is something of a cop-out.
Oh, you mean the, character progression and...
Yeah, that.
Yeah, what skills you're gonna have. Yeah, it's very good. Very good for an MMO, actually. It's better than almost any other MMO I've played. You can really customize your character quite heavily. You don't have to be a tank or be a mage, be this, be that. You can sort of just go wherever you want, and it'll all be viable. So I liked that. But yeah, no, it's a shame that it's not as good as we hoped it would be. So, hopefully they get better. Any other follow-up, gentlemen, or shall we move on to patch notes?
Nah, let's move on. This week has been sad as is.
Sad? What do you mean?
I'm in, as you know, I'm in post-season blues.
Explain to the listeners.
No, don't explain. Don't.
We all saw it coming.
We are all mourning.
They're curious now, Finny.
Killed them.
They're curious now. Explain to the listeners, Harry, why you have a mental deficiency.
The bombastic Dragon Ball Z-esque conclusion to My Little Pony Season 4 has occurred, and it was awesome, but it was actually right down to, I would even call it like a chemical reaction. Like, if you are really super happy about something, and then it ends, you're naturally going to feel shit afterwards. I'm sure it's the same as probably a reaction to any drug. It was just, the show was that good.
I mean, I can definitely appreciate that feeling, of course. Like when you finish a good book and you're like, no, the book must have more, you know.
Yes. What do I do now?
Yeah, you feel like you were fine before the book.
Bleak.
No, but you were fine before the book, and then you read the book and the book's finished, and you're like, but the character, how do I?
There must be more.
What do I do with my life now?
Yeah. Harry goes looking for My Little Pony fan fiction.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. Nope. Nope.
You've got the advantage of there being quite a lot of material out there for you to mine.
Yes. Alright. If I ever get that desperate, I pretty much will be set for the rest of my life.
Yeah, sorry,
this is true.
You are that desperate.
Thanks, Tom.
Alright. So,
Alright,
patch
listeners,
notes.
now that this bizarre void in your memory has occurred, we can move on.
Maybe I'll just cut it. What is patch notes? It's where we all pitch a story that we think is the most important story of the week, or the one that we should most talk about, and together we all decide which story is the most noteworthy. So what I'm going to ask you, Harrison, James, My Little Pony, Leek, what is your story of the week?
So, my story has up and vanished, which was interesting. On Facebook, I noticed that the Australian Sex Party had uploaded this article, and it was about the Australian Games Classification Board being merged with the Australian Immigration Review Board, which sounds very Australian. We don't like bad games. We want to stop the boats. It's a board that's very good at saying no to everything. Mm-hmm. So clearly you can just get two birds with one stone and just get the same people saying no, whether it's a video game or someone's life.
Well, you can't kill the bird because that's too violent.
Also, can I interrupt for a brief second?
Mm-hmm.
For our international viewers, Australia has a political party called the Australian Sex Party.
Just throwing that out there, guys, just so you know.
That went straight over my head. Yes. In this country we have a political party. I'm not talking about just some wild party going on down at Dave's house or something.
Yeah. Did you vote for the Australian Sex Party, Harry?
I certainly did. I really like Fiona Patton. She is a brilliant speaker. She'd make a great PM, but
she's got a couple of good degrees on her, I'll bet.
Oh, plenty. Yeah. But the really funny bit about the article was that it will also, they'll also be in charge of just general censorship within Australia, which they're trying to knuckle down on, things like blocking access to the Pirate Bay and such. And then, not an hour later, the article's been pulled down. So obviously this new board is very efficient.
Yes, it is. It's probably the most efficient arm of the entire government, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, look, that's got to be a joke or something, right? Like,
I don't know. They're a political party. They check their facts and stuff. So I do want to see whether it's a fake article or not. But
the problem there, Harry, is you said they're a political party. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's silly parties for everything. There's the Pirate Party in Sweden, which is just one drunk guy, and he just wants to torrent everything. That's his thing, and he got 4% of the vote in their last election, which is huge. That's a big deal to get 4% of the vote. So,
but I mean, Australian Sex Party is a pretty major party. I mean, we've got Liberal and Labor, and then we've got the Greens in at third place, and then neck and neck we have the Family First Party and the Australian Sex Party. So they're pretty far up the ladder.
That's true.
They're not just some dude who wants to torrent everything.
It's funny that they're right next to the Australian for Family First Party.
Oh yeah, they are just.
Do you think they go to the same meetings?
They hate each other.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
well, that's interesting.
That's the latest in Australia.
Yeah, the latest Australian government news, which we always like to bring to you listeners every week. Breaking news, fresh off the press. Tucker, what have you been getting into this week?
Oh, I guess I might go into some international news with the Dota 2 International Championship. Yay!
Yay! The compendium or whatever it's called they're selling, right?
Yes, I think it's the largest crowdsourced prize pool to date. Currently sitting at
the fastest amount of time.
In the fastest amount of time, true. Yeah. It's sitting at a current prize pool of $2,874,380 US. Holy fucking shit. That's a lot of money. I'm in the wrong profession.
The next one below that was what, 1.8 million?
I think so. But if, I'm looking at the site now and the tournament prize pool, first place alone takes away $1.43 million US, followed by 632,000 for second place.
Crazy. And they raised it in 24 hours.
Exactly.
Explain to our listeners how they crowdfund the international each year.
Okay. So essentially, Steam is selling their, I think it's compendium for about $10 US. And they're saying that 2.5 of those dollars, so $2.50, will go towards the prize pool, and Steam/Valve take the rest to do whatever it is they do.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool. They set it up kind of like Kickstarter, where they've got goals. So the first goal was companion owners receive a limited edition 125% battle boost, which means you get more XP for playing it per game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now they've just reached goal 6, which was companion owners receive a new immortal item. That is. But I like this 7th one, goal 7. Companion owners will be able to select the next hero shipped in Dota 2. So it just means going through
into Dota 2 or shipped with another character relationship.
Yeah,
oh man, he's such a good character. I wish he would make out with this other character.
God,
Isn't that what the teenage girls talk about? Shipping characters?
No,
Wait, didn't I introduce you to shipping, John?
No, I unfortunately already knew about it. I think Hamish and Andy mentioned it and something. I was like, shipping? What is this shipping? Yeah, that's interesting. So, and the compendium itself, it's like a book, but it's also lets you vote on what teams get in or something. I
think it's kind of like their version of a mini, like fantasy football kind of thing. You kind of track what's happening in the tournament. You can make up your own dream teams. I think you can collect your little cards and put them, not physical cards, but digital cards, put them in. I don't know. It looks kind of cool. I am interested to get it. But then again, I think that's 10 of my US dollars, and I don't. Because it's a free-to-play game, and John, as you know, I pretty much refuse to pay for anything in a free-to-play game.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you refuse to pay for paid games. You refuse to pay for anything. Last night, you finally got Reaper of Souls and downloaded it. And
yes.
it took me it's taken me 4 months to convince you to buy
no,
it.
I was going to get it.
Yeah, but you were last night, you were I don't know.
It's $44. I could spend it on
$44. That's DLC, right?
It's an expansion.
Yeah, it's
old style.
So it's one chapter. It's one chapter, one extra chapter in D3.
You can buy a whole game for less than that.
It's an old style expansion, Harry. WoW expansions are $50.
Aren't they 55 now?
Depends, it changes, but we downloaded it. We had a great time with Reaper of Souls.
Yes, I love my new ability, man. Just that vengeance, fucking smash everything.
They fixed everything. They fixed everything about Diablo.
It's
that
really
was
good.
wrong with it. It's a new game almost. It's unrecognizable from what it was. Anyway, we should talk about Reaper of Souls next week once we've had more time to play it. Early impressions
definitely.
are though that it's very good.
Yes, Blizzard, I like killing hordes of demons very fast.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the massive prize pool for Dota 2, Harry and Finney?
Oh, a lot of money.
I mean, it's a lot of money. It'd be nice to go to your parents and go, see, video games is good income. What's this degree you want me to get? Forget that.
That's true. I think
but I mean, no one will get it.
I think the bigger deal is sort of being able to show investment in the space. You know what I mean? Showing that companies are willing to put, people are willing to put, and companies are willing to put so much money into this sort of thing. Whereas before, it'd be some StarCraft 2 tournament, and Blizzard gives the money out as the prize money, because they're obviously already invested. But external companies, sponsorships, and now people paying for it, it shows that it's quite a big deal. Which is, good. As well as the whole, thing that happened a couple of weeks ago that we didn't talk about, which was, MLG is teaming up with ESPN in the US. So the X Games, like the extreme sports and all that. So 20 years ago, extreme sports were laughed at, right? They were skateboarding and snowboarding and BMX. What is this childish stuff? Just sort of esports are now. And then ESPN created that whole X Games thing, and then all of a sudden extreme sports are a thing. So MLG's teaming up with them to show COD matches and stuff like that on ESPN, on actual television. So along with that, it's sort of showing that people are beginning to take the space a bit more seriously, which I think is cool.
Yeah, well, 2.8 million first prize pool do that to anyone.
Yeah, very big. Very big.
Yeah.
Finney, what have you got for us this week?
Well, it was announced not too long ago that there's another Unreal tournament coming to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought up a few interesting questions because it's just, I think the idea they want behind it is another sort of basic arena shooter. Like we used to have a lot of them in the past, things like Quake 3 Arena, the previous Unreal Tournament games, Tribes Ascend, those sorts of ones. And a lot of them turned out to be free to play just because there didn't seem to be a market for it anymore. And my question was, they're bringing out another one. Is it really relevant anymore? Are arena shooters in the era of things like Battlefield and Call of Duty, which are based around character progression, is just a bog standard arena shooter something people want, or is it just now irrelevant?
I'd say absolutely. I mean, Titanfall is big, and it's
that's got character progression.
Point,
yeah, it's not an arena shooter.
Oh, that's shoehorned in.
We mean
it's
like,
all about the twitchy, funny, shoot stuff up.
I think what Andrew means
it's not an arena shooter.
When you mean arena shooter, you mean like when we play Quake 3 on that space level. And
those ones. The old shooters,
yeah,
what we used to think of as shooters 10 years ago, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been one like that for some time. And the ones that were, I think Tribes Ascend is probably the last one. And that had to go free to play to try and survive, and no one plays that anymore. So the only ones that are really sort of surviving in terms of online shooters are things like Battlefield and Call of Duty, things which have a character progression system. And PlanetSide 2 has a character progression system. They all have that now. It just seems to be like online shooters have moved on in that sense. They've gone from the old, just the arena-based multiplayer ones to now a more complicated system, which gives you some feeling of investment in the time. Because, like, Quake 3 was a lot of fun, but it was always a joke. You'd play it to dick around and be an idiot, and you'd only do it for like half an hour or something. And games such like Call of Duty, or my personal experience in PlanetSide and Battlefield, the time that's invested in it sort of feels rewarded when you can look at how you've progressed in terms of not just your character level, the weapons and upgrades you've got, but or your statistics, but it just shows you've earned something for the time that you've put into it, so you have investment in it. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, a very minor system was implemented in that, like weapon skins, drops you can get, stuff that you acquire, so you look back on the time you spent playing it, and you can see that you've earned something for that time.
Yeah,
it's not just you jump in, shoot a lot of stuff, and then bugger off.
Yeah, they knew that they couldn't just reskin Counter-Strike Source again and release it. They knew they had to include just something else, because people have moved on. People want RPG elements in their shooters now. They want to feel like
I got very fond memories of Quake 3 Arena, and I think most gamers do. So I think if they bring something that is just that bombastically shooty fun into the new age, I think it would get enough attention, because Counter-Strike is not Quake 3 Arena, not by a long shot. Quake 3 is a lot more just kind of mash the buttons and kind of spam rockets everywhere, whereas Counter-Strike is very twitchy, gotta be just precise, aimed, and 3 bullets and the opposition can be killed by that. So, I'd personally get it. I'd be really looking forward to it.
Well, it's interesting that this news has come out on the heels of the rumours of, not even rumours, they've sort of trumors been, a little bit confirmed, of the new Doom, game, which is...
John will never play.
Doom multiplayer was, too scary. Too spooky for me. Doom 2 had, all the big multiplayer in college campuses and all that sort of stuff, but it wasn't like Unreal Tournament or Quake when it comes to these sorts of arena sort of shooters. So it's just interesting that they're both sort of, these old games are sort of coming back. But, Finny, to your point of, the world was flooded with arena shooters and then they all slowly died off. Now that there are none, maybe there's space for just one.
The problem is that it's a similar thing with the MMOs. The reason why no MMO will ever have the same success as WoW is WoW was the first big one. It's the first one that was truly successful, and so it's the one that people who play MMOs invest the most time in. So they'll go and play Terra, they'll go and play Knights of the Old Republic, they'll play the Elder Scrolls Online for a bit, but then they'll go back to WoW because it's the one they're most invested in. Similar with shooters, like, yes, if you brought out a big bombastic arena shooter, they would play it for a while, but then the player base would drop off dramatically when people just decide, well, that was fun, and then they go back and play what they normally play.
Well, that's just it. What do they normally play? There isn't anything. WoW is still happening.
Call of Duty. Battlefield,
it's not quite the same.
Side.
I think it's a bit.
maps.
Shooters are a bit different to MMOs because MMOs have a proper. Like if I stop playing Titanfall today and never play it again, and then I go back 6 months later, it's not like I'm like, oh, thank God my character is back. You know, it's not. I don't think it's really comparable to how MMOs work. But I do see what you're saying, where it's like, well, why should I waste my time with the Unreal Tournament, the new Unreal Tournament, when all my friends are playing Battlefield? I've got a lot of weapons in Battle. You know what I mean? I think that's what.
Well, it's also like, right? If you're really high up in Battlefield and you're good at or Call of Duty or any of the other shooters out there, you then go into an Unreal Tournament, and then all of a sudden it's sort of, the game is completely skewed because it's got entirely different mechanics in the way, because it's just an absolute complete another mayhem that happens on the battlefield there, because that's its style. So people would get frustrated in the beginning because they can't adapt to it, and then they'd have to, but then they go, well, why would I bother trying to adapt to something which doesn't have a progression system when I can go back and play Call of Duty, in which my character is level whatever. I don't play Call of Duty, so I don't know how the progression system works, but you've got all the guns, the upgrades, the stats. You could just jump into that and immediately annihilate everything.
But maybe that lack of mechanics, maybe that difference in mechanics is what some people are looking for. Because I know a few people who hate progression in their shooters. They're like, why do I have to unlock weapons? I should have all the weapons, just go around the level and shoot people. Like, you know, we all know one Thomas who's like that. That's the only game I play.
That's the best part about Counter-Strike, is the pricing on the guns. All guns are available, you just need to play a few rounds and you've got that money.
Yeah. So, the other interesting part with this Unreal Tournament announcement is the fact that it's a bit of, I got a bit of some journalistic commentary here on not that I'm the journalist, on bad journalism. The headline of this was through IGN, or at least the one I read was through IGN, Finney. I don't know about your one.
That haven of journalism.
Yeah. It says, Epic Games reveals free-to-play Unreal Tournament. It's not free-to-play. It's free. Now, I think IGN's just trying to get clickbait, because free-to-play has a bad taste in everyone's mouth these days. And they're just trying to make people go, oh, free-to-play Unreal Tournament, why, they're ruining everything about my childhood, and all that sort of thing. What they're doing is they're doing the hat model, the Team Fortress 2 hats model.
It's all entirely cosmetic.
Sorry?
It'll be entirely cosmetic.
Yeah, and it's all user-made, just like the hats.
Oh, that's right.
I've got a quote here. So, we'll eventually create a marketplace where developers, modders, artists, and gamers can give away, buy, and sell mods and content. Earnings from the marketplace will be split between the mod/content developer and Epic. That's how we plan to pay for the game. So it's not just hats and content, it's also mods, which I think Harry's very interested in.
Well, it's going to be similar to the Player Studio in PlanetSide 2, where you can design like camouflage and helmets.
Yes. But imagine if in PlanetSide 2 you could also sell a mode. You know, like, I guess PlanetSide 2 is a bad example, but, you know, imagine an Unreal Tournament if you design some sort of cool mode, like, you know, the zombie mode in Halo, right? Where one team is the Flood and the other team is the humans. Like, that sort of idea, if you come up with some cool idea, you could sell it and earn some money from it. And
I don't think it would work, to be honest.
Why not?
I really don't. Well,
you need a moderator for starters.
Well, of course, it's all
the
moderated.
ruination of mods. So you've got an M-rated game, and someone wants a nude mod. Well, that would increase the ratings. So the game developer is obviously going to have to refuse that mod on the marketplace.
Yeah, correct. What's wrong with that?
Well, that's not mods. That's just...
Okay, so no nude mods means that's not mods. Is what Harry is
Harry,
saying.
won't play Unreal Tournament because you can't run around naked.
Sure, why not? I'm just going to go with this.
Harry,
I've cornered myself with this argument, so I'm just going to plow through with it.
What it'll be, Harry, is when I say mods, I don't mean nude mod, I don't mean this. I mean, so there'll be two sections. There'll be content, so you can create, you know, I'm using hats as an example, but there won't be hats, you know, skins for guns and armor sets and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, game modes. And obviously it'll all be curated. But
it'll be similar to armor mods.
Yeah, but it's in Epic's best interest to release as many as possible, because this is how Epic is going to earn their money from the game. So I don't think we'll run into that problem, really.
That is one thing about Bethesda with Skyrim, that they really haven't taken advantage of it. The Skyrim has had one of the longest lives for a single-player game, partly because of its huge modding community, but Bethesda gets nothing out of it.
Well, I think you'd see a massive uproar if they did a whole, you make a mod and charge for it, we'll take 70%, you take 30%, you know what I mean? Like, there'll be a massive
Elder Scrolls
uproar.
6 sales on PC would drop like you wouldn't believe it. That's why the game is so good, because you can have so much player-created content, which extends the playing time of the game dramatically, which is actually, in a lot of ways, most of the replayability in it, and it's completely free. If Bethesda suddenly turned around and said, no, we're going to charge you for this, then, as John said, it wouldn't stand a chance.
Now, if Skyrim
I'm
was
not
free,
suggesting that at all.
if Skyrim was free, or Elder Scrolls 6 was free or whatever, and then they decided to do that, then that's a different story. But they make you, they charge you, and then they make you pay for mods and stuff. It's like, that'll never happen, at least for that series.
That's a bleak future.
No. What I was suggesting was basically just a longer turnout of DLC and expansions. I mean, how many expansions are there for Skyrim?
3, I think.
3.
Yeah.
3? That's nothing. They could have doubled that easily, and people are still playing it.
That's milking the cash cow.
Yeah, I'd prefer fewer, bigger expansions than tons of DLC. That's the difference between an expansion and DLC. You know what I mean? DLC is horse armor, and expansion is Heart of the Swamp.
Dragonborn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Expansions.
A whole new map.
A whole new map. Just briefly on this subject of Unreal Tournament, I think that they've been pretty clever, because they recently just made Unreal Engine 4 free, well, effectively free, $20 a month. Which anyone who's even slightly interested in games development all of a sudden wants to go and download. I went and downloaded it, and I pay $20 a month, and I'm not even a game developer.
I've jumped on that myself.
You've done it as well, right? And he's like, look at a few tutorials. Oh wait, games are hard. But I'm not going to unsubscribe, because I'm like, what if one day I want to still do it? But the thing is, right?
I'm plowing through on this one.
But the thing is, right? All of these mods and stuff that we're talking about will be made in the Unreal Engine, right? And to get the Unreal Engine, you have to pay $20 a month. So this is yet another revenue stream for Epic. All these modders will come along, and they'll go, we need Unreal Engine. Okay, we'll pay the money, mod, blah, 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 have a good time. So they're getting money from the content and from this subscription. So it's not like they're being, they're being pretty smart about it. I mean, they're gonna give us a good game. It'll be a good game. It's Epic. They'll give it away for free, and we'll get a bunch of content from people that we'll pay for, and Epic sits back and just gets money from both ends. It's a pretty smart strategy.
That's if it works, though.
If it works, yes. Listeners, this is all our predictions. None of this could come to pass.
Uninformed, ladies and gentlemen.
Uninformed. Tucker, you've been very quiet. You and I played Unreal quite a bit back in the day, in high school.
Oh, so much.
Yeah, Unreal 2004 mostly.
Yeah, and then we moved on to Quake Arena after that for a bit. So,
and then Battlefield and so on.
Yes, and then Battlefield took over our lives.
Which
followed by Call of Duty.
Yeah, well, no, not for any of us.
Well, Call of Duty 4, but then after that...
No, not even multiplayer. I played the single player of that, and that was it. You guys all played that at your internet cafes and stuff, and I was like, can't we play Battlefield? There's tanks and jets and... and you guys were like, no.
KD!
Yeah, you guys, I must shoot the mans, and that's all I will do.
Exactly. Raid to the face is the best way.
Well, speaking of Battlefield, my story for this week, ladies and gentlemen, is EA... okay. That's all I'm going to say. No. Harry, go. No, initially, this was the headline I read. EA shutting down Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Vietnam, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, Battlefield 2142 on June 30th. I then proceeded to click through on the headline and discovered that it is way more than just Battlefield. Let me tell you what else they're shutting down. I'm skipping I'm skipping probably 50 games here, because they're shutting down about 100 games. I'm skipping about 50 of them. Okay. Bulletstorm, Command & Conquer 3, Command & Conquer Generals, Command & Conquer Red Alert 3, Crisis 2, EA Sports, 2006, FIFA Soccer, Full Spectrum Warrior, James Bond, Medal of Honor Allied Assault, bunch of Sim City things, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, Need for Speed Pro Street, Need for Speed Undercover, Neverwinter Nights 2, Neverwinter Nights 1, Spore, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, and Tiger Woods PGA Tour 08 for Nintendo DS.
Anything but that.
Why would you?
As well as a ton of other ones that I'm not even going to bother with. So let me just read quickly what they say to get their point of view on it, and then we can discuss what we think about it. The decisions to retire older EA games are never easy. The development teams and operational staff pour their hearts into these games almost as much as the customers playing them, and it's hard to see one retired, or 100 retired. But as games get replaced with newer titles, the number of players still enjoying older games dwindles to a level, typically fewer than 1% of all peak online players across all EA titles, where it's no longer feasible to continue the behind-the-scenes work involved with keeping these games up and running. We would rather our hard-working engineering and IT staff focus on keeping a positive experience for the other 99% of customers playing our more popular games. We hope you've gotten many hours of enjoyment out of our games, and we appreciate your ongoing patronage. Now, before you guys speak, you are able to, with Battlefront, for example, set up your own servers and all that sort of stuff. And nobody was playing on the official servers anyway, on any of these games. Most people are playing on custom servers. Having said that, I think this is a bit of a dangerous precedent for the industry. What do you guys think?
Which of that list would you guys miss the most?
Battlefield 2.
Battlefront 2 for me.
Battlefront 2? Okay, mine would...
Battlefields.
Okay, mine would definitely be Command and Conquer Generals. I freaking loved that game back in the day.
That was a good game.
That was my high school game. That was my jam. I rocked that stuff.
Now, I think it's important to say that none of these games are going away. It's like, EA's taken it off my hard drive. The devils.
No.
It's just
the
online. It's just the online multiplayer, and the online multiplayer for these games have been dead for years anyway, and people mostly play on custom servers. So you can still play on all custom servers, but in this case, I'm pretty much fine with whatever they're doing because it's all on custom servers by this point anyway. But what happens in 4 years when Titanfall 3 is out and they go, Titanfall 1, let's just get rid of it?
Wait, you'll play
there are no
Titanfall?
custom servers.
Sorry, what's that?
There are no custom servers with that game.
Exactly. All these old games, that's what I was going to bring up, Harry. All these old games, all work can work on custom servers because they were all made between, 1998 and 2007 pretty much, where everything was like GameSpy or everything was like, it didn't really have a service, just had IP connections and you could hack it and stuff. These days with Steam and Origin and all this sort of stuff, if Valve decides to kick a game off Steam, or if EA decides to kick a game off Origin, that's it. There's no way to play anything without going through the DLC check, the DRM checker of these services.
You're right. The first time I ever saw that was with StarCraft 2. Everyone was absolutely aghast that there was no LAN play. I remember people were petitioning outside of Blizzard going, bring back LAN play. We must have it. Because they were just so in that mindset that it was a must.
Yeah.
And for so many years, it hasn't been a must. But now as things get retired, it's going to bite them in the ass. The only way they could get out of this without being condemned is if they were to upload a patch that allows for make your own server.
To be free or whatever, yeah.
That would be fair.
Yeah, it's funny actually you say about the LAN with StarCraft 2 because I was watching a StarCraft tournament on the weekend and they were having internet troubles and when there's internet troubles, it goes to like a pause screen and one of the other players goes, Blizz, please, LAN already. Lol, 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 lol. And this was Stefano Tucker, who's like the best non-Korean in the world, pretty much. He's just like, lol, 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 Blizz, please. It's really funny.
Wait, I thought Blizzard had their own, LAN setups for proper tournaments. Was this a actual full-fledged, like, GSL, or was it more of a,
this was
smaller local thing?
No, this is Lone Star Clash, but they don't have special GSL.
No, I thought, that StarCraft, when it came to the more higher up tournaments, they had special...
Nope.
They better not. That's complete false advertising, kind of marketing your thing in a championships gameplay, but that's not the real product. That's a modded product.
Yeah.
That would be very dishonest of Blizzard.
No, they don't at all do that, Tucker, no. It's all...
I'm gonna Google that and prove you all wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that was in the works maybe, 3-4 years ago before the game came out, when they were trying to assure people that the main tournaments would be fine, they don't have to rely on the internet. But that's not the case anymore. Because
Let's find out if my uninformed opinion was
because
correct.
WCS, which is, the biggest one every year, they were having internet troubles the other day. And they had to switch to the European server instead of the American server. So, that's neither here nor there. StarCraft aside, Fiddy, what do you think of this whole sort of scary move towards? We've always had to license our games. We never actually owned the games that we play, but it's becoming more and more apparent these days. What do you think?
I can understand why you'd shut down the servers after that much time, and with those ones because you can have your own servers. I'm not so much against that, but the precedent that it sets is kind of worrying.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that it probably won't start this massive trend of people just going, this game's been out for 2 years, just axe it. I don't think that will happen because there would be a severe backlash from that. So I don't think it'll end up being that bad. This kind of move, doing them all at once, the only sort of major follow-on effect I can see is that they would shut down the game servers earlier than you would expect, because these games, they came out, as you said, between 98 and 2007.
Yeah.
So they are very old and virtually no one plays them anymore, which is completely true. The problem is, as you said, like with Titanfall after 4 years, they may just start axing that. They'd start a lot earlier. They wouldn't wait until the game had just died completely and no one played it on official servers. They'd wait and go, there's only a few thousand people on the server. No, we'll axe it anyway and we'll move on.
Yeah. I think that... Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It's less to do... This isn't so much a problem as, like, now that every single game has this sort of Steam or Origin DRM connected to it. Whether you buy the physical copy or not, it's going to be a problem in the future for us, I think. Yeah. Quick correction, mid episode follow up. So you remember a few weeks ago they were like, GameSpy servers are shutting down, so we're shutting down this and this and this. This is apparently linked to the GameSpy shutdown. So this is not EA just deciding to go, fuck it, what it is GameSpy being shut down. And so EA goes, GameSpy shut down. Well, we can either patch every single game to get it up to date to work on our servers, or we can just let them go.
So you could say that it set an immediate precedent.
Yes.
Yeah, in a way.
Yes, in a way.
Wow. Yes. Oh, also, John, you should Google StarCraft 2 Professional Edition.
Okay.
Yes. So I think there might be LAN versions of StarCraft 2.
Where do I find that?
I'm just seeing some articles. Just keep Googling that and
June 24th, 2010, before the game came out.
Yeah,
The second link
What article are you looking at?
The second link is StarCraft 2 news. Professional edition rumors false. All of these things came out before the game came out. Rumor. Every single link is... God damn, Harry, look... Consider the source next time.
You're just too easy, John. You really are.
Okay. Well, did you guys have any more interesting stories of things that went on during the week?
Yeah.
No? Well,
semi-interesting, I'd say.
We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah. Microsoft using the stick for all its Windows 8 users.
The stick?
One.
What are you talking about?
I think for Windows 8.1 you have to update to the latest version, otherwise Microsoft's essentially saying, no more further patches for you until you update.
Yeah, can confirm. So what it is, because I just got Windows 8, so there was Windows 8, and it came out to everyone hating it. Then they did 8.1, which just added the start menu. Then they did 8.1.1 or whatever, right? Which added a ton of stuff, and it was way better, and it's a very usable and pretty good operating system now. That 8.1.1 thing, you have to get that new update, or else you won't get any support. So if you have Windows 8.1, it's like some ridiculous short period of time. It's like 2 weeks, isn't it, Tucker? And they're like...
it's tomorrow.
Oh, sorry, tomorrow. Yeah, but it was 2 weeks. They announced it like 2
weeks
ago.
Yeah.
They said, you've got to update or we're just going to drop support for you. So...
Wait. 8.0 came out when?
A year and a half ago, something like that.
So you can buy a product and lose support of it within a year and a half nowadays.
No,
wow.
Pretty much they're just saying update or else you're going to lose support. But it's funny that, XP had a 13-year support cycle that only just ended, and then Windows 8.
No, it's starting back up. In Cuba.
What's that?
It's starting back up in Cuba again. So.
Oh, that's funny. Was it last episode we'll talk about Cuba?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was funny. That's an episode I would have liked to be on, is because my father-in-law's Cuban. I could have gotten an interview with him or something. An interview on what? He has no computer. Skype doesn't run on XP. That's funny. Just quickly, there was an interesting article on, interesting discussion on that bastion of correctness, Reddit, called Low Poly seems to be the new pixel art. Do you like this development? Low poly meaning
Minecraft.
No. So Minecraft is like pixel art, sort of. Low poly would be stuff like Kentucky Route Zero or Sky Rogue.
Have not heard of either of those games.
Well, there's Sky Rogue.
Yeah,
Look in that's Sky Rogue. I don't know if you guys saw No Man's Sky at E3 last year or whenever it was. The like procedural space sim. I don't really know how to describe it. It's pretty much, imagine a game on the... Do you remember how when the Nintendo 64 was out, right? And it was 3D and it was cool. But then the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 were out. PlayStation 1, and it was like Tekken, and it looked shit. Like they tried to do 3D as well. But the Tekken was all like... just 6 polygons. You know what I mean? Like per character. It sort of looks like that. And it's becoming a bit of a aesthetic these days, I've noticed.
I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure they just found an old stash of games from like the 1990s, early 2000s, and they decided to re-release them.
That's true. Thomas was alone with one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. Thomas was alone was one like that, but I guess it's just nostalgia, just like pixel art is. So
Yeah.
anyway,
This reminds me of A10 Cuba, the very first flight simulator ever. Did that Sky Rogue one. And, man, that was a great game. So, yeah, I think nostalgia is definitely a go on this one.
Well, okay. Well, we will briefly talk about what we've been playing this week. Harry, what have you been playing right and or wrong this week?
Yes. You know I only play games wrong. This week I've been playing 2 games wrong. I've been playing Slender, the 8 Pages, wrong.
Is that first one, the Flash game?
That's the first
Second
one.
one.
It's the first one.
Sorry, yeah.
Slender the Arrival is the second one.
Slender the Arrival is like when they decided they couldn't make money from this phenomenon and make a
I bought
commercial
that for
product.
you, John.
Yeah, didn't I press decline or something?
Yeah, I also bought you Outlast, and you didn't play either of them.
No, I accidentally pressed accept on Outlast, so I think I have it, but
There's DLC for that.
I'm never gonna... Oh great, I better go download the DLC right now.
Yes, no, that is the second game, and that is also why I'm playing Slender the 8 Pages, because originally I was playing Outlast, and I failed. I'm normally pretty good with scary games, but Outlast was just Alt F4, scrub hard drive, burn computer, move house. It was just terrifying. And I thought I must have lost the knack, so I went back to Slender the 8 Pages, because that's like your base level entry horror game. And even then, I'm really struggling with horror games. I've gone through Amnesia and Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs. I've gotten through Slender the 8 Pages previously, but I just seem to have lost my ability to play horror games.
Have you lost your ability to even?
Too even. But the reason I play 8 Pages wrong is that being on the PC Gaming Master Race committee, I always play it on max graphics, and this is a little Flash game, so it interprets max graphics as we need to have fog, particle effect physics up the arse, and so you just can't see squat.
And also, because it is Flash, it takes up 4,000% of your CPU. And
Yeah, pretty much. So it gets about halfway through the game, and the fog just gets more and more dense as you go through the game, and you end up not being able to see a thing. You can't tell a tree from Slender himself.
That tree looks very sinister.
Yes. Well,
Tucker, what have you been playing this week? We'll talk about Reaper of Souls next week, but this week, what have you been playing?
I was going to say Reaper of Souls, but see, we can't say that until later.
Yeah.
Usual, man, just Dota and lol.
Tucker.
Oh, and StarCraft. So my usual go-to.
The variety.
Now that's all I've been playing as well, but I've been trying new games. I've made Harry and Finney try out new games each week. You need to start doing it too. Although I'll give you a pass this week because we did make you buy a $110 headset. So
that, and because of Mother's Day, I was planning on playing Last of Us, but kind of have to go see my mom.
That's true.
Time.
That's true. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there listening to this.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of you.
My Mother's Day was a complete failure.
Why?
So, well, everyone thought that
My
I
mother
just
is
hadn't...
dead!
No. Well, not that bad. It's just I rocked up to the family home with flowers and, food and all that, and it turns out Mother had, taken off to the farm, leaving the entire family completely confused as to where she was.
She went by herself?
Yeah, she just, it's the weekend, she likes to go to her holiday house farm. She just didn't tell anyone.
Her husband? Your dad?
We all assumed, that's where she is, the car's missing, and, she does it every single weekend non-stop. It's just the farm's outside of reception, phone coverage.
Yeah.
So,
tell the nice people how far away your farm is.
Okay, so going from the center of Sydney, it's less than 1 hour's drive north, starting at the center of Sydney. So, 1 hour's drive and you go from center of Sydney to zero reception, cannot get a phone call out.
Is that the Gosford Central Coast area, or?
Yes, so just a bit more inland from that, Mangrove Mountain.
So like Somersby, Mount White area.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you just cannot get a phone call out there. It's utterly rubbish.
Yeah. Well, Finney, have you been playing anything differently this week?
Warframe.
Differently, but we haven't talked about it yet, so go ahead.
What do you mean differently?
No, because we've been playing that for a while now.
Playing Warframe, free-to-play game by, I don't actually know who it's by. I'm great at research.
It's by some Eastern European developer, I think.
Yeah, it's some random
PC
bunch.
and PS4, right?
Yes.
Yep.
One of the better free-to-plays out there because there's really no need to pay for anything.
Mm-hmm. Did you get the email about it? Is that why you got back in?
Don't think I did. Although Hawken got patched, but I haven't played that yet.
Yeah, no, I got an email about, you've got such, because you were playing Warframe a year and a half ago for some beta or alpha or whatever I was in that I'd never played, you get such and such amount of credits. Come back and join us. And I think I just deleted it, but, but it's good to see you're playing. So keep going, sorry.
Third person, basically it's the Horde mode, the game, because that's basically all you do. Mm-hmm. You're a crazy genetically engineered space ninja. You run around as if you've taken about 15 tons of sugar and 4 lines of cocaine, murdering everything in sight.
Mm-hmm.
It's, primarily multiplayer based. You can move around at maximum 4-man squads. Mm-hmm. The different classes, or warframes, each one has different purposes, different special abilities, because you've got sort of like the tanks, the healers, that sort of thing, but each one is also combat-oriented. Mm-hmm. And then there's probably like 12 different warframes. The art style's very interesting. Some of them look really cool, some of them look just retarded. There's one which looks like a hammerhead shark, which makes you look like a complete prat.
I think that's the beginning one, isn't it? The starting one?
No, the starting one is Excalibur, which it looks fine, except that you've got a horn sticking out of your head, which makes you look like a douche.
Or a unicorn. Which would you rather be, listeners? Send email to uninformednews@gmail.com.
Well, we know what Harry wants to be.
Yeah.
So, it's got an extremely extensive crafting system. So you have to get a warframe, a new one or a new weapon. You've got to collect blueprints, then you need parts, which takes forever. It's most of the game you spend collecting parts and building stuff.
Or you can spend those sweet dollar bills, y'all.
Oh yeah, you can buy it if you're an idiot. So there's, that's sort of like the main part. There's different modes. There's sort of tower defense, there's assassinations, there's run around, blow stuff up for no apparent reason. Mm-hmm. There's sort of nightmare modes where you've got no atmosphere and no gravity and your enemies are kind of overpowered. Mm-hmm. There's different types of enemies that you take on. It's all in Horde mode, but then there's the big tanks that turn up. There's
like bosses on different waves, sort of
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
It's quite different to a horde mode in the sense that in a horde mode you are in one place and things come at you and all that, but you sort of have missions each time, don't you? Like you've got to get to this
there's an
place
objective.
or do this thing or go through a facility, which is a cool little difference there. I like that.
The story is completely impenetrable.
Yeah.
No idea what the hell's going on there.
Yeah,
the design of it kind of reminds me a bit of, or Destiny, I'd say, take a bit of inspiration from it because it looks very similar sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It is quite a bit of fun. It has the worst user interface ever developed, and nothing is explained to you. The people that I play it with, I don't know how they managed to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's literally to the point where I don't actually make decisions for myself in that game. I just say, what should I do? They tell me to do something, and then I do it. I don't like playing games that way, but this game is so unimaginably hard to understand that it's the only way I can do it.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to get around the menu and everything. I mean, it was like, it's like to go to the next mission, you got to like zoom in on a solar system and go to all this shit. It's ridiculous. It's a little hard, but the game itself is quite fun. It's if you guys have ever played the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, it's exactly the same as the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which was a good fun multiplayer.
Just force upon us.
It was fun, man. Finny, anything else that you've been playing this week, or that was mostly it, other than that and Battlefield?
Battlefield, Skyrim, PlanetSide.
The trifecta.
I finished off Betrayer.
Oh yeah, so how did it go? Did it get less and less immersive as it went on, like you described, or did it turn out alright?
It got weird. More weird. And then it ended weird. It was weird. All up. Yeah. It was a weird game.
Would you describe it as weird?
Oh, I think I might.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, Harry.
Let's not jump to any conclusions.
It was weird. And the ending was just kind of like...
how weird?
What?
Yeah, like, give us a like on a 1 to
on
10.
1 to weird. How weird was it?
Weird.
Yeah, it's a solid score.
Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Finn. Harry Finn.
What?
I just shipped you two together by accident.
Okay.
Well, unless there's anything else.
Guys.
Oh!
I got bumped up to Division 2 in Battlefield. I've no idea what that means.
Division 2. It means there's different divisions in your local area. So Battlefield knows where you live and all that. So Division 2 means you are sort of in the top 70-something%, or not top 70%, sorry, top 30% of people who live around you in Battlefield.
Wow, I need to find something to do with my life.
Yeah. So if you want to check out more of that in the battle log thing up the top, there's an area where you can look at like your location, and it shows you all people who are playing Battlefield around you, and it shows you where they live as well. or roughly where.
Interesting. I must beat John.
Yeah. You can set missions for each other as well, like to be the best assault and all that sort of thing. Anyway, I've tried setting missions for you guys,
set a mission
never accept
for you, John, to stop crashing helicopters.
Deal. Hey, I was good. I flew into the back of that aircraft carrier that time.
No, John, we've established this many times. You cannot drink and fly in Battlefield, okay? Same as drink and driving, it doesn't work.
That's true. I should either not drink and just fly, or drink and just shoot. I can't really do both.
The drinking and flying is very entertaining, provided I'm not in it, because every time probably 1 out of every 3 times I spawn in the helicopter and you're flying, it's immediately followed by horrible explosive death.
Oh, I just get shot. It's not my fault.
See, I like sitting on top of the towers and then watching this helicopter, like, kind of go, like, the wrong way up and, like, flying across the screen, like, oh, there's John. Followed by the immediate crash and boom, and then, like, John's KS, like everyone else in the helicopter. So,
I always like to put on, special shows for everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it for me. Is that about it from you guys, or anything more to add?
That is about it.
Oh, well. Thank you for joining us for Uninformed. Please subscribe to us in iTunes or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. There'll be a new one every Tuesday. If you like us, please leave a review, and if you've got some good ideas for future podcasts, go ahead and tweet us at Uninformed News or email us at uninformedpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you to my co-hosts for joining me this week. I'm John Clark.
Harrison Lee.
Andrew Fenn.
Matt Tucker.
And I'll see you next week.